Hi, everybody. It is 12 o'clock. Glad you were here. It's time for another Daily Distinction. And I'm really, really happy that you joined us, whether you're watching on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube Live or here on Instagram. Let me say again, we're getting a lot of first time viewers. So if you happen to be watching on Instagram, what makes it different is obviously Instagram wants the portrait, everything else wants the landscape. And so I'm talking to my phone here for Instagram, talking to this for all of the others. But it's great to see everybody joining in today. Thank you for being here. Gosh, what a tough show to follow up on, huh? We had a great one yesterday with Glenn Morshower, and yes, happy Friday to everybody. Thank you for being here. We had such a great conversation yesterday with Glenn. What a terrific guy, and great to see you. Yes, Friday. Here we are on April 37th. So it was great. Welcome to Fridays. Duane, you've got that exactly right. Welcome to Friday some year. What year is it? I don't know. Hey, to Faye, who's watching on Instagram as well. So glad that you are here. Boy, we're going to talk today about the changes and the challenges. Sheila, always great to see you. Happy Friday to you as well. There's so many changes, so many challenges. And one of the things I've been wondering is, okay, so when this is over, whenever it's over, or when we get back to more of a normal kind of situation, what of these changes that we're going through now are going to stay in place, and what of these changes that we have been through are going to go away? So I really look forward to your comments. I really look forward to what you have to say. Oh, thanks, Anna. Yeah. Matter of fact, I heard from a couple other folks that because Glenn, they watched Glenn yesterday, they went and back and watched Summit 24 to see him on that. But another thing that you can see him on, he's got a small guest role this year. If it's picked up for next year, he will be a regular cast member of a show on Fox called The Resident. That is really terrific. It's been about 10 years in 1 month. That's true. Happy Friday to you too, Sherry. I appreciate that. It's so great to hear from you. I'm really glad that you're watching today. So, of the practices that we are establishing now, what's going to stay, and what's going to go? And I'm interested in what you think are the things that are going to go away, and what do you think we're going to continue to incorporate in our personal and professional lives? I've got a few here in terms of what's going to stay. I think one of the things that's probably going to stay is remote work. I think companies are seeing that people can work remotely and be productive. And as a result, they are not going to be as incentivized to get everybody back into the office. And I mentioned yesterday that I think one of the most challenging jobs to be in right now would be in commercial real estate. Because I really think as leases come up, companies are going to be reevaluating, could we reduce the cost of our lease, get people to work from home a little bit more, and focus on that. I think that's one of the changes that's going to be lasting that we are going to see. So if you like working from home, I think you're going to love the future. If you don't like this remote working, I think you better find ways to make yourself more productive, because I really believe it's one of those things that's going to be here to stay. Shelley says, I sure hope so. Vegas would be a long drive. Yeah, but a drive you wouldn't mind making that bad, right? I mean, Shelley works, Shelley's my sister, and she works with us in our business, and she works remotely from Indiana as I'm out here in Las Vegas. But it would be a long daily commute. I would give you that. Duane says, I think we'll go back to the way we were on most things. The question is how quickly. That's that. I'm getting to that, Duane. I think you're right on much of that there. But I do think that this whole idea about working remotely, in one way, it's good because we can control more of our time and our effort and that kind of thing. Nobody's looking over our shoulder. And I don't mean to be cynical about it, but I think it's also good for companies because it lets them cut their overhead, and basically their employees are paying for office space. If you're working from home, basically what the company has got you to do is to pay for your own office. Linda says, Zoom meeting I was a part of had the best attendance since I've been on that board. Facilitator said we may have to do this more often. There you go, Linda. Yeah, absolutely. Zoom is becoming Zoom type meetings, whether they're on Zoom or on GoToMeeting or Microsoft Teams or whatever. They are certainly becoming more popular. Look at what we're doing here and what we've been doing every day. I mean, by the time you add the folks that are watching this live and the folks that see the replays, I mean, we're pushing 1,000 views a day of this segment, which means that people want to be connected. People want to communicate. They want to talk with each other. So that's one of the things we need to be able to do at a more productive level. Sheila says it'll all stay the same for me. I tend to stay away from people anyway. Sheila is battling some health challenges, by the way, and but it's important that you take care of yourself, Sheila. No doubt about that. Hey, Ken Walls, always great to see you, my friend. This can be a conversation for what we're going to be talking about Sunday night as well. What's going to go and stay? Wasn't Glenn just fantastic yesterday? It was really, really terrific to talk with Glenn. With more remote teams, will face-to-face events be more important for teams when physical distancing is? I was just on a call earlier this morning, and again, this is all speculation, and I always, we had that talk earlier this week about don't contribute to the noise, focus on the signal. So I'm not trying to contribute to the noise in terms of, I'm not saying or suggesting anything in terms of the medical analysis of the pandemic or anything like that. But what I do think is this. I think as people start working remotely more than what they have in the past, it's going to emphasize the need for meetings. In other words, the companies can say, we can save a lot by reducing our overhead in terms of offices, but it's also going to require us to get people together to connect face to face so we can emphasize the goals and the objectives of our company. So part of what I see evolving over a period of time is more remote working, but yet I think it's also going to contribute to a resurgence in meetings, perhaps a little quicker, so that we can get everybody together and get everybody on the same page as they then disperse and work remotely. In other words, the company is going to have a way to formalize what we've typically called water cooler chat, right? So I think it's going to be, over the long haul, a really positive thing for face-to-face meetings, but I think it's going to take us quite a while to get there. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Tell me how we make that happen, Tim. That would be fantastic. You guys do such a great job for the Colorado Association of ASAE. By the way, for those not in the meetings industry, CSAE and ASAE, it stands for example, Colorado Society of Association Executives. So these are the executives that do associations meetings of all different type. And my friend Tim is with the Colorado Automobile Dealers Association. Diane, isn't it amazing when you see the pictures? The one that blew me away, I've spoken before in New Delhi in India, and the pollution there. I got off the plane, and respectfully, I mean, I love the city and the people were fantastic, but you get off the plane, it smells like burning tires. The pollution is so bad. And you see the pictures now of what it looks like now, and it's really, really incredible, the difference. John, so good to see you. It is a shame that we are able to unite on a world basis to win this war and that, and as soon as we win it, we go back to killing each other in our own wars. Yeah, there's so much to that. We need maybe hopefully a situation like this, and again, it's making it's making lemonade out of the lemons, but maybe hopefully a situation like this can help us realize that we're all in this together. Duane's not sure that remote working is really going to catch on. They've already started studies on working remotely and found the loss of instant collaboration has affected directly the lack of creativity. It is the instant, what do you think about this missing in remote working? Yeah, Duane, I think that's absolutely right. I think part of what's going to happen, and that's why the surge in meetings, is that we will designate time in meetings to get together and talk about innovation and talk about creativity and get everybody together, make our plans, then send everybody back out to work on it. It'll be interesting to see. And again, all this is speculation. We're trying to speculate, if you're just now joining us, on what's going to happen in the future and what's not going to happen in the future. Yes, Pam, Glenn was great. Hey, by the way, we're going to continue this conversation. Let me pause it for just a second to tell you that we have a special guest that is coming up on Monday. Now, I will be on Saturday and Sunday. We do this every day. But on Monday, my great pal, Dana Williams. Dana is one of the founding members of the Grammy Award-winning, multi-platinum selling, 6-time country music group of the year, member of the Grand Ole Opry, Diamond Rio. Dana is one of my best pals, and Dana is going to be here live with us on Monday. Talk about a business that's going through change, the concert business, the music business. Dana's going to be, and Dana and his wife, Diane, also own a retail store in suburban Nashville. And so they've had to close their doors. And so Dana's going to be talking with us about, what happens when your industry goes away. And he's going to be talking about what they're doing on the retail situation in terms of pickup and delivery. So he's got a lot that he can talk about. Dana's a longtime friend. In fact, Dana was one of my groomsmen when Tammy and I got married. So he's one of the best. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, share some atoms. That's right, Phil. That's what we need to do. Yeah, it's good for my line of work too. And maybe it's overly rose-colored glasses here, but I really, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if the company can reduce their overhead by reducing the size of their office space, basically having their employees pay for their own offices in essence, and then use that money to get everybody together and focus on creativity and on strategy and on planning and on motivating them and all that, why wouldn't you do that? Yes, the Earth's wobble has been reduced, Phil. Phil is one of the great humor speakers out there. He's terrific. Hey, Diane, small ad agency in the 90s. I handled a client in Canada, wrote his radio commercials, TV commercials, never met him in person, but his business grew and he saved money as well as my small company. There, a great point. Isn't it amazing too, Diane, how many colleagues we have that we have never met in person? That's part of how the world is just so fascinating to me. We do that show now every Sunday night. Ken Walls is on here, and we do the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott every Sunday night at 8:00 Eastern, 5:00 Pacific. We just started it this last week. And Ken and I know each other from here in Las Vegas, but I've never met Glenn in person. Yet here we are doing a weekly show now, and here he was yesterday with us. And so it is wild, isn't it? How we have these relationships with people that we haven't met in person, and that's part of what's going to happen for us in the future. So yeah, Ken, you bet. And looking forward to seeing you on Sunday night. Yay! Shelly says about meetings. So all we want to focus on is how do we deal with these changes. So let me throw a couple others at you of what's gonna stay. I think e-learning is gonna stay. Look, we're doing this show, and it's kind of a talk show every day at 3:00. To watch this on Facebook is not a whole lot different than watching it on your television or on your phone, on your iPhone. So it's fascinating to me as someone that grew up where the networks ruled everything, right? When it came to television, the networks ruled everything. When I got into television, I had the privilege of working in Louisville at WHAS, and it was on many ratings books was the highest rated local newscast in the nation. In the nation, it was the highest rated newscast. And that was such a privilege. Then I got to go to Indianapolis, which is one of the 25 largest television markets in America. Did anchored the weekend news there, and being an anchor for a CBS affiliate in the top 25 market. I mean, that was everything, right? Now that you added Fox to the mix, which happened many years ago, but you got 4 major networks. But people don't care. They'll watch it on Lifetime and not care that it's Lifetime as opposed to CBS. Who cares? They'll watch something on Facebook, and you can, with your laptop, put it up on your biggest television set in your house and watch this on that. I went downstairs the other day, and my wife was watching this show on our big screen. And so it's just amazing how all of this has changed. And so I think that e-learning aspect The fact that we don't have to do it just on a station at work, but we can set at home on and set outside and have our iPhone, and the knowledge of the world is available to us. Interesting story I heard this morning. When you think about all of the information that is available to all of us right now in formats like this, if you don't take advantage of it, it's similar to somebody saying, hey, I've got $1 billion. How much of it do you want? And you take a penny. If we don't avail ourselves, if we don't take advantage of the incredible opportunities that we have to learn and to grow, and with e-learning and we're e-training, we're doing more of this than ever before. Part of what we have to understand is if we don't take advantage of it, it's like somebody saying, I got $1 billion. How much do you want? And you reach over and take a penny. Grab it. Take it for all that you can take. Go for all that you can. It's absolutely so important. Yeah, Phil, our show is right after 60 minutes. Diane says the problem is those good old boys where they think they need to sit in your face. Yep. Yes, exactly. Diane, you bring up such an important point as well that I love about e-learning is that if the instructor says something, there's a course I'm going through right now, and one of the things I noticed is the instructor said something and it triggered some ideas. So I can hit pause and I can write down those ideas. I can even go back and watch it. Oh, I better catch up. So you go back and listen to the 30 seconds or minute before and go again. Or if there's something that you don't quite understand, that you don't quite get, okay, I'll rewind it and I'll listen to it again. And you don't lose anything. Where with the typical instruction that most of us have received, I mean, in college, I'd sit there and I'd take notes. You'd write as fast as you can. And sometimes, did you do this as well? Sometimes you got so focused on writing the note, there was something about the experience that you missed because you had to get it on paper, but something about the learning experience was missed in the competition of you and your paper of trying to get everything down. Cheryl, you're right. The days of normal are no longer normal. I love what our mutual friend Randy Pennington says. It's not going to be about the new normal. It's going to be about the new next. Because when we first started, it won't feel normal. That's some of the things we're talking about, is that some of the things that's going to stay is e-learning, which may have not, and remote work, and that may have not felt comfortable at the beginning, but now is going to be part of how we do things. I put down one more thing about what's going to stay, and you may disagree with this. I think we're going to see handshaking go away. I think that part of what's going to happen is that the tradition of us shaking hands is no longer gonna be around like that. So, Jeff, thank you for that question. My great friend Jeff, you're in Ecuador, right? Is watching, and what does it say on your left arm? I forgot I was wearing short sleeves. Okay, I got to tell you about that real quick. Thank you for asking that. So I was the guest speaker for the global dealer event for Harley Davidson. And I've spoken on several occasions for Harley Davidson, but this was their big global, 1,000 people in the audience. It's their dealers from all over the world. And one of the things I talked about in terms of the customer experience and creating distinction was real commitment to it, right? You really had to be committed to it. It can't be something that the dealer principal said, it's something we need to do, and then you didn't follow it up with your commitment. So you had to be committed to it. And you can probably see this coming down the road. So one of the dealers in the front row comes up and he pulls up his sleeve and he has the Harley Davidson logo tattooed on his arm. He says, I am so committed, I even put what I am committed to in ink on my arm. Are you that committed, he said, about what you talk about? So I am. So I went and it had the word distinct inked on my arm to remind me every day that my message is about distinction, and remind me every day that my goal is to not only try to be distinct on my own, but to try to help others achieve distinction in their own careers, in their own businesses, in their own lives. So I wanted to be able to prove that I am so committed to what I talk about. And it's not just trying to chase a hot topic. It's not just trying to, say something to get me booked. It is something I truly believe and something I'm committed to. I was willing to get it inked on my arm. So I've never told that before. So hey, you got me to reveal something about myself I've never revealed before here, Jeff. So thank you for that, my friend. And it's always great hearing from you. Uh, Jeff also says, one thing on my mind is how the handful of conspiracy believers, instead of being the one guy in town, joins with one of, oh man, you got a movement of weirdness. Jeff, to me, one of the most depressing aspects of this entire situation is seeing some people who are espousing crazy ideas. Um, it's just unbelievable that 5G caused all of this or whatever, and it really concerns me and scares me in so many ways. And I think you're right at it. My new next, someone else will do my grocery shopping. Yeah, Tammy and I have gone to Instacart. We're doing that with Instacart. Ken says he's still going to shake hands. I get it, but I think that we're going to find that some of the Jeff, you're a global expert here. How when I was in speaking in Bangkok in Thailand, just the bowing to each other, or whatever it might be. Maybe it's a fist pump. We all become Howie Mandel, doing that. Whatever it is, that's going to be the new next in so many ways. So, Talene, it is something, isn't it, about all that. Shed the shake, Kathy says. Kathy talks about shedding, the messages. So that's going to be one of these going to happen. Bonnie, you're so nice. Thank you for saying that. Oh, I appreciate that. That's the only ink I have, but I did want to prove that I believed in my message. So thank you for that. Okay, so what are some of the things that's going to grow? That are going to start here. The seeds were planted here. What's some of the things that we say are going to stick around? Well, we talk about what's going to stick around in terms of remote work and e-learning and no handshakes. Here's some of the things I think is going to go. I think some of the subscriptions that we have signed up for, and now we're figuring out we can live without, we're never going to renew them. Obviously, we have, in the business I'm in, there's little to no income at all coming in right now. And so one of the things I thought might be prudent was just go through and see how many of these things I'd signed up for the monthly subscription that I could do without. And it has been amazing to me how many times there's no subscription I've got that was enormous on its own. There was nothing that I got rid of that I was paying $100 a month for. But I sure got rid of 10 really easily that I was paying $9 a month for. And I think one of the things is going to be that when we understand that we can live without them, then we're not going to come back and renew them. One of the things that it's amazing too. I have a subscription in the New York Times because for what I do, I love doing research and I love reading. And I also have to admit, here's the crazy thing. With the New York Times, they will deliver the Sunday paper to you and you get everything for digital for less money than if you just buy the digital. It's cheaper to get the Sunday paper and full digital than it is to just get digital. Now, obviously, the reason is because they want the number of subscribers who actually get the newspaper because it can drive up their advertising rates. That's why they're doing it. Anyway, it's like $50 a month. And I just thought that's something I can do without. So I called to cancel. And when I called to cancel, they said, well, would you be willing to stay on if it was $20 a month? Okay. Yeah, I can do that. So that's what we did. And why not? There's a couple other subscriptions like $9 a month. I figured I can do without. We're doing without it. So I think that's one of the things that's going to go away. There's going to be subscriptions that we get rid of, And we've talked about this subscription economy and how we're all in the subscription economy. But I also think that there are going to be some subscriptions that we terminate that we're never going to go back to. Um, I think that we are going to be really glad to be out of isolation. I think we are going to be so thrilled to be out of isolation that things like parks and beaches and that we're going to have to be very careful, because one of the things that's going away is we realize that we want to have connection with other people. And that's really, really important. Ron, no, Iconic is not going to go on the other arm. That's funny. I did think about it. I have to admit, I did think about it. But my wife has said that she could live with one, but one is about enough. Cheryl says the younger generations don't shake hands now. Yeah, it's kind of true, isn't it? That they're doing fist pumps or maybe a quick high five more than like shaking hands and staying in the handshake and that. It's so true. I can fully pull it. Yeah, exactly, Diane. That's our shopping changes. Talene, I think you're exactly right. That was the next thing I had here, is that masks and gloves, I don't think are going to be with us a long time, or they will be with us in specific areas, but not in the general population. In other words, one of the first things, that we're seeing here in Nevada, and it's also over in California, is that, you have to wear a mask to go in the grocery store or supermarket. You have to wear a mask to go in the bank or whatever. We'll see that go away. But I think that in other areas, and again, all this is just speculation, but I think in other areas like an airplane, if they think they're going to pack people on planes like that, I think they're also going to require that you wear a mask. So we're all going to be sitting there with masks on as we fly. I've been wondering, for my friends watching in Indiana, I've been wondering, when they're talking about having the Indianapolis 500 and making that happen in August, right? Will that happen? Who knows? But with what we heard yesterday, you could consider it, perhaps. What if they made everybody wear a mask to go to the Indy 500? In other words, when you go to the gate and you give them your ticket, if you don't have a mask on, they won't let you in the racetrack. That would be fascinating. Could you imagine 500,000 people sitting around a racetrack with masks on? Would that be wild? But it might be the only way that you could say we're going to go ahead and have this major event. I don't know. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. Yeah, Apple News is $10 a month. And Ken, so there's the kind of subscription that you get more value from, right? Those are going to be okay, but interesting. We're going to value friendships more. Duane, I think you're absolutely right. I was talking with Dana Williams, and by the way, if you just hear Dana Williams of the mega multi-platinum selling band Diamond Rio is going to be joining us on Monday, talking about what happens when your whole industry shuts down, like the concert business has. Dana is also the owner with his wife of a incredible retail boutique in suburban Nashville, and naturally that's been closed. So we're going to talk about what do you do when all of a sudden, relatively, this thing happens. So Dana's a fun guy. We're going to have a blast. So we're going to be talking about those kinds of things. So that's what we want to talk about today. To wrap up, what I've been saying is some of the things that I see that's going to stay. Remote work is here for good. I think reconsidering handshakes, maybe a fist bump or a high five, or some people are even touching their feet together, that kind of thing. They're doing that. Jeff's a buddy of Dana's as well. Jeff knows that Dana is going to be a great show. So remote work, handshakes, and I think e-learning is one of the things that's going to stay and get bigger and better as time goes by. What's going to go? Wearing masks all the time, the isolation and subscriptions. Things are going to change. Some things are going to change. Some things are going to stay. But as we've said here before, the key is it's not just going to be the new normal. It's really going to be the new next, because it sure is not going to feel like normal for quite a while. Hey, thanks for being with me here on Friday. I want to remind you of a couple things. One is, if you'd like some free resources to help you deal with all this challenge and change that's going through, we have free resources for you. And it's also a way that we stay in touch at distinctionnation.com. It's distinctionnation.com. Check it out. Free resources available to you, even a 14-day audio program. You listen to one segment of the audio every day for 2 weeks. It helps you understand your priorities in life and helps you set goals and specific action plans to make them happen. Also, want to invite you to join Ken Walls and Glenn Morshower that you met yesterday and me on a show called Ken. It's the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. And that is going to be on Sunday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Really, really hope to see you there. And I will be back here at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific tomorrow, as we do 7 days a week, every day, right here on Daily Distinction. As always, thank you so much for joining me wherever you've been watching today. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.